Let me ask you, I've been making some noise. I was out west till last night, and I've been really trying to raise question of the silence around the Richard Collins killing. And I know the Root has covered it, but most of the media has not. But I want to ask you something else that I did see on the Root this morning, and of course we have policy things and a lot of calls we're going to. But I wanted to ask you about the Bill Cosby jury selection. There's been a charge, and I'm asking you because you are there in the Philadelphia area, which is the area where the trial will be, and you have a hot drive time talk show there. The charge has been made, said by one of his attorneys, that they're trying to exclude blacks from the jury. What is your sense of race being a factor in jury selection? And this has nothing to do with people's opinion one way or another of Dr. Cosby or whether he's guilty or innocent, but in terms of due process.
Right, no, it's a good question. It's a very complex and very multi-layered question as well, Reverend. And in fact, I was talking about this briefly on my daily show, Reality Check on WRD. So in terms of the contours of the case, or the details and particulars of the case, the crimes that Bill Cosby is being accused of, there's not going to be so much focus on that as there will be focus on the optics of the trial, and that the fact that now we have a nearly all-white jury, and that's what people are going to start looking at in this trial next month, this all-white jury and a black man. It's going to be that simple equation. And so you do have a lot of folks in Philly and beyond who are looking at the aesthetics of that, the racial aesthetics of it. And so it's like it won't really be a conversation. In terms of the national discourse, you're probably noticing this now, a lot of folks who are calling in to Keeping It Real and folks you're talking to on the street. There's probably going to be much more of a textured conversation regarding the makeup of this jury, the fact that you only have one black juror and the rest of them are white, and that you have this black man who's on trial for these various crimes. And, despite the salaciousness of the crime, of what he possibly did or allegedly did, we won't have a conversation about that. We're going to be having a conversation about the racial optics, and that's very problematic. One, heading into the summer, and folks, maybe kind of looking just at that, and, suddenly, there's this new, very aggravated layer in the national discourse over race, is this trial of Bill Cosby. And so that's a problem there. That's a worry or a concern that I know I have, and I know some other folks I'm talking to have as well. I mean, his lawyer, his defense attorney was, to my understanding, was the one who asked for picking jurors out of Allegheny County, which is on the western side of the state. It's the much whiter side of the state of Pennsylvania, instead of staying in Montgomery County, which is a fairly affluent white county right outside of Philly, or asking to, do it in Philadelphia County, which is, obviously it's much blacker. So, I mean, it kind of seems like that was a miscalculation on the part of his defense attorney. I'm not sure what they thought they were going to get out of Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. That's the Pittsburgh area. You had a lot of black folks in Pittsburgh, but not as many in the Philly area. So, I'm not exactly sure what the strategy was there.
Now, the Allegheny County area where his attorneys asked the jury be picked from and it was granted, what are the demographics, the racial demographics? Because even though it is mostly white, it is not 9/10 white, is it?
No, it's not. To my understanding, I haven't seen the demographics for a while, but to my understanding, it's like it's a bit over 10%. Now, I think it's around like 12% black last that I had checked. So it's not like that. I mean, that's a significant chunk of population right there. I mean, it's kind of proportional with the national share. And also, I think the statewide, I think the black population in PA, if I'm not mistaken, is around like 15%, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, there are a lot of black folks that come out of Allegheny County, come out of Pittsburgh, definitely. The population of Pittsburgh, I believe, is around like 20%. But it's just not as prominent a presence as it is in southeastern Pennsylvania, specifically like a Philadelphia County, which houses the city of Philadelphia and some other areas.
Now, won't this have the potential of tainting the verdict, whatever it is?
It could. We act like juries, Reverend, and you know this just as well as I do. You're an expert on this. I mean, we sometimes act as if juries make decisions in a vacuum and that they're completely unbiased, that they're completely impartial. We always act like courts are just removed from all of this political and rancorous ideological discourse, and they're not. Courts are extremely political. Jury pools are extremely political. That's why people make a living off of picking juries or picking jurors or selecting specific types of jurors based on the color of their skin, based on their assumed ideology or where their socioeconomic background. So I think so. I think that's going to inform that, particularly considering the racial conversation that this country is immersed in right now.
Now, and let me add for the critics that the fact of the matter is that just because they're black doesn't mean they're going to vote for Bill Cosby, but it does mean he's judged by a jury of his peers. You had 2 blacks on the jury that acquitted the police officer in Tulsa last week. So I'm not saying that give them blacks because they'll vote one way or another. I'm saying give them a representative body of the county in which you're selecting the jurors in the spirit of jury by one's peers.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And and actually, as I'm talking to you too, Reverend, I'll probably overestimated on Allegheny County. I mean, it's around, based on the last census, about 9% the black population in Allegheny County. That's the county. That's not the city of Pittsburgh. But you're absolutely right. I mean, you want the jury to be kind of representative of the society or the population that the allegations took place in. You want there to also be sort of diverse perspectives and minds that are deliberating on this case or any case for that matter. But just once again, it goes to show you how problematic this type of process is, and we saw that in a very what I'm saying, we did see that in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in a very disturbing way is what I was saying. So, it's something we have to have a conversation about. It's definitely something that folks are having a conversation about with respect to Bill Cosby.
All right, let me take a call, then I want to ask you something else. Let's go to Clarence in Milwaukee, WNOV 860. Clarence.
Clarence Hill. Thank you for accepting my call, Reverend Sharpton, and your guest there also. Good afternoon to you both. Okay, what I want to say about the Cosby thing is this. That's not being done in a vacuum. Now, that's voir dire, and he is, I'm sure Cosby has a heck of a legal team. I don't know the specific names of it. They put the attorneys on his team. That's a strategic move that they're doing. That's because they have more input than it was seeing. His attorneys, they also have, they are able to pick jurors as well as the other side. If they don't like the juror, they opt not to have that